Hello everybody and welcome back to the All About Favorite channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Pastor KZ. Now, I want to make a quick comment on something. On yesterday, I got some emails about yesterday's midweek word about the test and the blessing, the bigger the test. And some people were saying, yes, I agree with you, woman of God, 100%. The test that I went through, I didn't think I was going to be able to make it through it. But on the other side, that breakthrough came, and it was a bigger blessing than I had even imagined. The Lord blessed me with something, gave me an opening and an opportunity on something I didn't even dream of, nor did I pray for. So you are absolutely right. Sometimes the greater the test, the greater the blessing. So just thank you, Pastor KZ, for that word yesterday. And I want to thank all of you who continue to watch and support the channel. Now, on yesterday, if you notice, on Wednesdays, I would rarely say what I am wearing. So yesterday I represented the University of Michigan t-shirt. Today, as promised, and Michigan was number 3. They should have beat Georgia, but that happened because it wasn't meant for them. That championship was meant for Florida State. Also, I am not wearing the University of Alabama t-shirt because you know what? My subscriber in Alabama forgot to mail it to the right address. But I am representing the University of Auburn in Alabama. So I did not miss you, Alabama, this week. So I was true to my word. I did say I would represent the state of Georgia and the state of Alabama this week. And I've held to that. So thank you all so much for your continued support. Go War Eagles in Auburn. And thank you, subscriber from Alabama, who actually went to the University of Auburn, who sent me this t-shirt. Thank you so much. Now, I have an assignment for you to do over the weekend. You got a long weekend. I won't be on Fridays, but you got Friday, Saturday, Sunday to get this done for me. Now, I'd like for you to imagine that you had a time capsule, and if you could put 3 things in that time capsule, what would you want to go in it? What would you want to go in it? Because the purpose of this time capsule will be to leave behind something for the next generations to come, to learn something about you. Now, I realize some of you are wondering, what's the purpose of that though? Think about this. How many of you remembered or ever knew your grandparents or your great-grandparents? See, some people were not fortunate enough to ever know their grandmothers or great-grandmothers, grandfathers. So this, to me, is very important because just a personal, transparent moment. I was so blessed to know my grandparents and to know my great-grandmother and have a relationship with them. And I knew a lot about them because they shared conversations with me. They shared wisdom. But some of you may not have ever met your great-grandparents or even your grandparents. I know some of the younger people now, they don't remember their grandmothers or grandfathers. So I thought this would be a good idea. And I felt so blessed to know my grandparents and to be a part of their lives and to learn things about their history, as well as my great-grandmother. And when you learn that your great-grandmother was only one generation out of slavery, and you begin to learn cooking techniques, and they teach you things that was taught to them. So what that was passing down generational history. And it's very important. See, some people, they only want to talk about generational dysfunction and generational curses. But you know what? There was a lot of good things going on within generations. So get that knowledge and wisdom. So I remember some things most often about them is, like I say, giving me valuable teachable moments, valuable information about my ancestors, learning recipes from my grandmother, learning what their hobbies were. So I can do this with you and help you do a family project. So why don't you get together with your family, and each person in the family write down a little biographical sketch about themselves. Write down something about yourself. That would be one of the things you will put in your time capsule. Write a little one-page biographical sketch so your children's children, or your great nieces and great nephews will learn something about you, because you matter. You did something here. You did something special. And you can put in a favorite recipe of yours in the time capsule. I'm just giving you examples and helping you think it through. You can put in a piece of costume jewelry that you once wore. You can put a hymn book in there, a Bible, whatever it is about you. Some people take a clipping of a newspaper that had on the top of it their birth date, put that in the time capsule. Just whatever you want is a good idea to put in your time capsule. And I know I've read a lot of articles about time capsules, and to paraphrase this, why people say this is important is your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, they should know something about you. And one lady in particular, she said, Pastor KZ, one thing that I always want my grandchildren or my future grandchildren or my great-grandchildren, future great-grandchildren to know about me is that I loved unconditionally. I loved unconditionally. She said another thing is I wanted them to know it's okay to make mistakes and I'll still love you. And she said, I wrote these things out to put in the time capsule for our family. She says, you've got to let the generations to come and the younger generations know you're going to make some mistakes, but it's okay to make mistakes. You are still loved. It was a bump in the road. You've got to get back up. We still going to love on you anyway. And she said another thing is, I wanted my future great-grandchildren to know about me, and my future grandchildren is, I'm proud of you. I was proud of your mom or your dad. And she says, always do your best. Always do your best. Stay humble and always do the right thing, even when you're tempted to do the wrong thing. What do you all think about that? And I want to thank the young lady that sent me that in an email. What do you think about that? Leave a legacy for your children and your children's children and the generations to come. Do a family time capsule. And you know what? It's a good way to start as a family activity over the weekend. We've lost spending time with family. Most people, everybody is running in 10, 12 different directions. The children is sitting there stuck on a video game or just watching their phones. Nobody is interacting in the household. I've seen a family sit in a living room together and never talk. They just on their phone the whole time. And I remember saying, do you all ever talk to each other? Why don't you talk? And one person say, oh, we are talking. I'm like, I don't hear nothing. I don't see any mouths moving. It's like, oh yeah, we're texting back and forth. What has happened to the art of actually speaking and spending time together? So I thought the family time capsule is a good way to start a family activity. Call up some family members and say, y'all, let's write down this little one-page biographical sketch and let's put 3 things in our little family time capsule so it will be found, and that way people will know something about us. And also the family time capsule, you can get a little box and put it in, even if it's a shoe box or something, and put everything in that shoe box and just make sure someone get a hold to that so someone will know that you were here, you mattered, and learn a little bit about who you were and your legacy that you have left. Don't forget, always get focused, find your balance, and prioritize your peace. And do as I do. I walk in favor no matter what I'm going through. I'll see you back. Have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget, get to work.